So this is the Red Dragon filter from Hexinverter. It's Soviet inspired, so as you can guess, that's going to be Polivoks based on the back end of that filter. So low pass, we have a cutoff, resonance, and a morph that goes from a 24 dB cutoff slope round to 6. So you can get your sort of two-pole 12 dB sounds somewhere in between. We have attenuverters for cutoff, res, and CV. So in the middle, that's nothing, positive modulation and inverted negative modulation. We have an input drive and a drive CV, again with an attenuverter. We can clip the resonance circuit with this switch. And it's also got a VCA on the output that we can leave wide open for standard filter style duties, or turn the VCA on and it waits for CV at the VCA in. Input, output, and 2 cut-off A and cut-off B inputs. Just A has the attenuverter. The rest have their attenuverters as well. So I've got a low-pitch saw wave coming from the WMD PDO. Let's listen to a quick sweep. Low drive, so fairly clean, 24 dB, no res. Let's push the drive. Add a little res. And notice it's cleaner, but that resonance behaviour changes with the input drive as well. Drive it a little more, it sort of choke out the resonance. It's not as prominent. And there's that sort of unstable, Soviet Polivoksy kind of filter sound. Note that this clip changes the resonance's sound. It was on, but without it on, this will go louder. Potentially blow your head off, there's a lot of resonance on tap. But when you clip it, a bit more character and flavour, and it sort of clips off the volume of that resonance as well. Let's morph round to 6 dB and you'll hear more top end come in. There's no res, 6 dB. 24. So that's the sound of the filter. Here's some standard envelope modulation. Removing that, we could use this in the VCA. So there's a wide open sound. When we flick VCA switch, this cuts off. It's waiting for CV at the VCA input. So let's have a little acid jam with the Red Dragon. And here's the patch. I'll play it, pull it all down, build it back up again. So my input is a saw wave from the WMD PDO, being sequenced by the sequencer 1, and here's the sound. Not quite at 24 dB. Can roll that back to 6. Drive around half. Chokes that resonance out. Let's add some CV to cut off A. And we're essentially there with the acid stuff. The envelope is the Galilean moons. And then I'm using an accent from the sequencer 1 to trigger the second Galilean moons envelope. Now I'm going to put this into morph and invert the envelope. If we didn't, we could go from 6 dB, pull that round, but let's invert it. So on that accent, we can see this go blue to indicate we're going round to the 6 dB, and that's letting more of those top frequencies through. I can make that longer. Also going to make the resonance less prominent. So it's ducking the resonance, bringing that back round to a 6 dB slope, letting more top end through. We could take this further with some stepped random into the drive. I'm going to turn up the amplitude of this random modulation. Bit extreme, so back that off. Change the resonance by clipping it. Turn it up. More aggressive resonance tone. This is all getting squashed and glued together in a CP3 based mixer. The Red Dragon will self-oscillate really easily. There you go, resonance up. There's no like feedback path or anything you have to create to get it going. Again, 2 resonance paths. The morph seems to affect the colour as well. Let's get the VCA on. CV the VCA and start a sequence. This is the second channel of Galilean moons for the VCA, which will go super tight. So not only is the envelope really tight, this responds really well. Let's add some CV to the cutoff. We'll go from the first envelope, triggered in time with the second, and into CV cut A. Again, this responds really fast. Let's get this slightly open. Really short envelope, and listen to this click it adds. slowly open the envelope going to the cutoff. So it's great for building up your own percussion. So let's look at some audio rate modulation, which it takes to really, really well. I've got a square wave at my input. Great, driven, characterful sound. Now if I add some audio rate modulation, and I've got a VCA that I'm just using as a static sort of attenuator, I'm going to go into cutoff B, because I want cutoff A and it's attenuator later on. Let's turn up the level of this modulation. You can hear those overtones it adds. And again, turn up the modulation. We could also modulate the VCA if we went into VCA being on. We've got AM modulation, audio rate amplitude modulation. We're going to stick with the cutoff though. I'm going to sweep the frequency of the modulation. Turn the depth up. Try audio rate morph. Less pronounced, but still nice and croaky. Get that in tune, sounds great. Really vocal and formant-like sounds. In fact, let's stick with the morph for now. I'm going to start a sequence on my oscillator. But if I send the same volt per octave sequence to my modulation source, we can get these overtones to track the pitch, the sort of bass pitch of the input. So that's without. And here's with. Let's try that in the cutoff. And the depth and the rate of modulation is what's going to change these overtones. Let's get the VCA in and add an envelope. Again, this is Galilean Moons. Let's go for a little bit less modulation. And because the sound changes so much with a cutoff, let's add into cutoff A the envelope from So let's take a look at distorting cleaner waveforms. So I have a sine wave, just going to go straight into the input. No res, 6 dB slope, cut off open. Here's the drive. So let's look at this as a sort of warm, driving, colouring kind of back-end VCA for a simple sine wave. I'm going to turn VCA mode on, take an envelope into the VCA, and let's add some stepped random to that drive amount so we can have some modulation of how driven this sounds. Turn up the attenuator. Just turn down the pitch of the input. It's great for giving what would otherwise be a sort of clean sub that you might mix under another bass a little bit more grit and character. So let's check out the Red Dragon in a feedback loop. And I've got a sequence playing that's going into the ZDSP. And here's the Dragonfly delay, 50-50 mix. Now the parameters on this card give me time, feedback and low pass on the delay. Here's some feedback. And we've got a low pass in the feedback on here. Which has a certain sound and a certain character, but I'm patching the feedback out into the Red Dragon and out of the Red Dragon back to the feedback in. So let's turn up the feedback path that's going into the Red Dragon. No feedback, you can hear that's adding our feedback trails. So each time this delay hits, it's coming out of the unit into the Red Dragon, back to the feedback path and looping round and round, circling round, giving us this feedback trail. So with more drive, we should get more feedback. And with any feedback path, it's really easy to go a bit too far, but plenty of level, plenty of control. With the filter open, tone stays intact. Let's add a little bit of res, filter that back. The morph, we can take more top end out. Bring more back in. Add a little resonance boost. Hear that building up. Loads of character. It sounds like those sort of warm analog old delays that we might be used to. As we've got the filter in the feedback path, and not just feedback and low pass on the ZDSP, we can modulate all those parameters. You can hear the resonance, the morph, the cutoff all changing to bring in that sort of screamy resonance just on the verge of going a bit too far before the modulation pulls it back again. So to end on, here's a patch I'm going to leave playing. We've got a pitch sequence and gate sequence coming from the audio damage sequencer 1. This is firing off the envelopes on the Galilean moons, which have been modulated, as well as everything modulated on the Red Dragon. We've got envelopes into the VCA and the cutoff, and then stepped random at 1, 2 or 4 step length, all coming from the sequencer 1's extra CV outputs as modulation. Hit like and subscribe for more videos every week, and check the Patreon link in the description to see how you can support my channel.